Alright, I'm just trimming a brisket down here. What we're going to do is we're going to try a little quicker and higher heat brisket today and see how that works. We're going to do it kind of in that pan. We haven't done real well in briskets in comp, so we figured we had this old brisket been frozen a couple weeks, and we're going to try something new and exciting with it. See what it tastes like. So right now I'm just trimming off the major fat, and I'm going to leave a lot of the fat cap on and see what difference that makes. Some of the silver skin and stuff, I'm going to try and get that off. This is a full brisket. Really what I got is the flat here, and then up here is the point, and there's where it separates. Okay, on this side I'm just going to try and get this fat cap down to maybe about 1/8 of an inch. You take some of it off and just leave a little. Try and get just a nice little layer of fat. You can see this has a pretty big layer of fat on the fat cap. So I'm just going to try and whittle that down. Alright, now that we got it all trimmed, we're going to use just a mustard slather, and we're going to put some smoking guns hot, which seems to be pretty popular for brisket these days. So I'm just going to get a good little mustard coat on that thing. Then after we rub it, we're going to put it in some saran wrap, and we're going to inject it with some butcher's beef injection. We're going to put it right through the saran wrap and wrap it up one more time. I'll put a good coat of this on there. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take our butcher's beef injection, fill up the old needle, start injecting it. We're going to inject it right through the saran wrap. As you pull it out, you kind of want to be pushing your syringe in. And for today's brisket cook, I am going to use BBQ Guru. It's DigiQ2. It's basically just the controller. It'll have one food temp probe and one pit probe. What I'll be doing is I'll just be setting this to the temp I want. It'll monitor it. Turn your little fan on. Keep that Stumps baby. Pretty much set it and forget it. I'm going to cook today about 325. The brisket's going to be in a pan. We're going to foil it about 170. Take it up to about 203. Let it sit for a couple hours. Slice it and see what we like. Like I said, this is kind of a little bit, this is a hotter and faster brisket. We're thinking it may take about 5 hours to get her up to temp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this Guru up, fire it up, bring it up to 325. So pretty much right now there's the Guru, and I have the pit probe, and you got to make sure, folks, when you start this thing, you got the pit probe in the pit. If the pit probe's not in the pit, you fire up your smoke and you turn your Guru on, you walk away and you think everything's handy dandy, you are going to have a seriously hot pit and a fire when you're done. So make sure you got your pit probe in the pit when you fire this thing up, and I'm going to go ahead and fire up the charcoal and let her start coming up the temperature. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and set the pit temperature. I'm going to go ahead and set it to 325. So there it is at 325. I just have the food probe sitting here. We'll put that in the brisket when we put it in. So let's just let it go and see where it goes. Just a minute or two into it, you can see you got the blower light blinking up above the 0, and that's got the blower going across the fire. So this thing's going to warm up pretty quick. Alright folks, what we're doing, we're unwrapping that brisket now. We have a pan there with some Rick's Sinful Marinade, which you can Google and you can figure out what that is. And we're going to put this in that pan, fat cap down so we get a little bark formation on the top. We're going to throw a little bit more rub on there, hopes of a good bark formation. And we're going to cook this until it's about 170 degrees, then we're going to take it out, foil it. We kept a 1/4 cup of that marinade. Could put it in with the brisket foil pack, take it up to 203 and consider it done. This is pretty much an experiment for us. Like I said, this could be a little bit hotter and faster brisket. Alright, so now we got the brisket. The Stumps is up to 326 and we're going to go ahead and throw this thing on there. I'm going to put it on this middle rack. This fits just perfect into that baby. Go ahead and close that and keep that away. So there it goes. Right now it's about 1140. The stumps will come right back up to temperature, and I'm using some oak wood in it today. I just put a log in, a nice chunk. Just a good fist-sized chunk in there, and we're gonna let it go. And but I almost forgot something. I got to put my food probe in there. Let me open it back up. I'll run it right through the door. Here's the point on the brisket. There's the flat. I'm going to just put it right in the middle of that flat. Close it back up. We'll let the wire door close on that. Now we should be good to go. Alright, now we're going to take a look at the brisket because it's about 168, 169. We're going to cover it. We're going to drain a little bit of that juice off of there and cover it up. That's what it's looking like right now. Pretty.
Pat, you want me to pat it?
We're putting a good little bit of rub on the top of that. Hopes of a good bark formation. And we're going to cook this until it's about 170 degrees. Alright, now we're going to take a look at the brisket because it's about 168, 169. We're going to cover it. We're going to drain a little bit of that juice off of there and cover it up. That's what it's looking like right now. Pretty. Now the guru's saying it's about 203, 204. It's been about 5 hours. We're going to give it the old probe test. It goes in and out like melted butter, soft butter. We'll know it's pretty done. Alright, so we took that brisket up to about 203, 204 and we gave it the old poke test, and it seemed to be pretty good and tender. We brought it in, we let it sit in a pan, and just suck up some juices for a little bit. It was done in about 5 hours at 325 degrees. So now I'm just going to slice it and we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to slice it a little bit, probably thinner than I would at a competition. Right there's a nice slice of brisket. Pulls apart. Good and tender. I'm happy with it.